All right, guys. So Joe Rogan has now done a couple podcasts after Trump won, and he's saying some things. He's saying some things here that I think the subtext is actually a little bit more profound than people are letting on. So let's start with this clip here. Look at his reaction to Trump winning. Listen to what he says, because this really, really gives away the game about how Trump sat across from him for 3 hours and lied to his face repeatedly, and Joe took it. All right, here we go.
Turns out voting works. It's real. As much as we fucking thought they had it rigged, as much as we thought there was shenanigans and bullshit and it's just a puppet show and there's no way anybody could buck the system, turns out voting is still real.
I like how he thinks that's funny, right? Isn't that funny? That somebody running for president of the United States who sat across from you for 3 hours lied to your face directly, relentlessly, and you didn't have shit to fucking say about it. Isn't that funny? It's funny, isn't it? Wow, voting's real. Turns out Trump is fucking full of shit, and in 2020 he actually lost, and in 2024 he won. Wow. One of the reasons this is so disappointing is because I was on Rogan's show in 2020 on Election Day, and I told him and Tim Dillon about this thing called the Red Mirage, what was likely to happen, which is it's going to look like Trump is winning early in the night because you got the rural areas coming in first. You got the votes that come in from Election Day get counted first. Those are going to skew way more Republican because Trump has been shitting on mail-in votes and calling it fraudulent, right? And then later on, you get more of the cities come in and you get the mail-in votes counted. Those are going to skew way more Democratic, also because Democrats were taking COVID more seriously, so they wanted to vote by mail. They didn't want to go to a place with a lot of people when it was time to cast the votes. And exactly what I said would happen is what happened. And he told me after that fact that every time people have come to him with rigged election conspiracy theories where they think Trump actually won and it was stolen from him, he told me what I would tell them is, Kyle Kulinski told me exactly how the election was going to go before it happened and explained it to me in clear terms, and so I never bought into any of the election rigging conspiracies. This is what he said. Then he interviews Trump, sits across from Trump, lets Trump babble relentlessly about how the election was stolen from him, doesn't push back, and then now after the fact admits, oh yeah, that guy's been fucking lying the entire fucking time, and it turns out voting is real. Yeah, you don't say. You don't say, but it's funny. It's a funny thing, right? Oh, it's so funny that the guy I endorsed because he came on my fucking podcast ended up winning despite the fact that he's a torturer and a war criminal and a corrupt goon who's a con artist and a fraud. So, all right, there's one clip. Now let me show you this one.
Did you, were you nervous about endorsing Trump or no?
I usually try to stay out of it.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was getting urged to by Dana and there was quite a few people.
So as we've pointed out, he's embedded himself in a right-wing cocoon where everybody jacks each other off and talks about how right they are and how stupid the Democrats are and how stupid the left is and how evil they are. And now his entire friend group is all right-wing. And he's admitting here, yeah, Dana White was pressuring me and many other people were pressuring me and they were saying, why don't you endorse Trump? And then he did.
It makes a difference. I kind of already stated what I thought about the way things were going.
Oh, it made a difference, Joe. Oh, it made a difference. Did you note that Donald Trump picked up with demographic groups he normally wouldn't have picked up with, and there are many young people in particular who ended up voting for him?
That some radical change need to take place.
Yeah.
Radical change. Trump is a revolutionary conservative. He delivered in 2016 George W. Bush on steroids, and he's going to do the same fucking thing now. Yeah, it's radical change. It's radical change for the worse.
You know, when we were talking about before with the way the country feels, like the way the country felt when Biden was in office was shaky. Because regardless of what you thought about his policies.
That is such a giveaway. Regardless of what you think about his policies. Well, hold on. That's what politics is supposed to be about. Policies. What are they doing to improve people's lives? Regardless of the policies. No, why would you do that? Why would you say regardless of the policies? But wait, it's about to get better.
It was real clear something was wrong with him. And they were lying to us.
Oh, yeah.
So that alone makes the whole country feel uneasy.
So the reason why Kamala and Biden were so bad is they were lying to us. And that makes the whole country feel uneasy because they're liars. They're liars. And that's unacceptable. Let me play that first clip for you one more time.
Turns out voting works. It's real. As much as we fucking thought they had it rigged, as much as we thought there was shenanigans and bullshit, and it's just a puppet show, and there's no way anybody could buck the system, turns out voting is still real.
So when Trump lies to his face for 3 hours, it's ha 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 he he. Turns out voting is real. But when Kamala and Biden lie and Democrats lie and the media lies, like, oh, actually Joe Biden's okay. He's not too old. His brain is still functioning. That's unacceptable, and that goes too far. This is the double standard. Hey, Joe, if you had done research and prep for your interview with Trump, you would have found out that there were 30,573, I believe is the exact number, of lies that Trump told during his first term. Even if you want to say the liberal media skewed those numbers and they counted things as lies that weren't lies, okay, cut it in half. Cut it in more than half. 15,000 lies Trump told his time in office, which makes him probably one of the most prolific liars that's ever sat in the White House. Put him right up there with George W. Bush lying us into the Iraq War. 15,000 lies. Apparently that wasn't a bridge too far. Apparently Rogan's issue is not, I just can't, for a liar, I can't vote for a liar. Guys, one of the things Trump said to Rogan's face is, Trump was like, I didn't say lock her up. When the people would say lock her up, I'd say, whoa, hold on. Trump said this to Rogan's face. That lock her up, bro, lock her up. I don't believe in lock her up. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Here's a compilation of Trump saying lock her up.
You should lock her up, I'll tell you.
One more time.
You should lock her up, I'll tell you.
I never said lock her up. I never said lock her up. They would say lock her up. I'd say, oh, hold on.
Lock up the Bidens. Lock up Hillary.
Lock up Hillary. I never said lock her up. Quote, lock up Hillary.
Lock 'em up. Yeah, lock 'em up.
Lock 'em up. Yeah, lock 'em up. One more time. Here we go.
You should lock her up, I'll tell you. Lock up the Bidens. Lock up Hillary. Lock 'em up. Yeah, lock 'em up.
You think Rogan doesn't know that Trump literally one of the things he ran on was lock her up? You think he doesn't know that? So when Trump says to his face, I didn't say lock her up, and Rogan doesn't pounce on that, maybe he just has a double standard. Maybe he doesn't care as much about the truth as he's pretending to care about here. Because he's laughing. Tee-hee, Trump. Turns out voting works. Turns out Trump is completely and utterly full of shit. Yeah, Joe. And if you bothered to read through any of the indictments before you sat across from Trump and played patty cake with him, you would have learned a thing or two. You would have learned about the charges against Trump. Conspiracy to defraud the United States. Conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding. Conspiracy against rights, which is basically throwing out the idea of one person, one vote, getting rid of people's votes because Trump wants to override the results of the election. If he bothered to do any research before talking to Trump and actually internalize these things, he would have known even Donald Trump knows the election wasn't stolen from him. This is according to his own words. In the indictment, you learn that he acknowledged to one of his co-conspirators that the rigged election claims were, quote, crazy. He thought Sidney Powell, who was leading the charge, was crazy. When Trump tried to get Pence to not accept the results of the election, Trump said to Pence directly, "You're too honest, Mike." In other words, I know that Pence is telling the truth, and I'm telling him, don't be so honest. So lie for me. Lie for me. They tried to open up sham election crime investigations. Trump tried to force the Justice Department to send letters to states fraudulently saying that they identified significant concerns that may have impacted the outcome of the election. They internally described their plan as the fraudulent elector memo and fraudulent elector instructions. The list goes on and on here. Some of the people who did the fake elector slates were literally found guilty. So they have to suffer the consequences, but Trump gets away with it. And you sat across from him and did fucking nothing. And let him lie relentlessly to your audience. And now you're pretending after the fact like, oh, the Democrats are such egregious liars, bro. And by the way, what ended up happening with Biden? He dropped out. He cleared the way. He did the thing that all the Republicans were saying he should do. Hey, drop out. Your brain doesn't work anymore. Then he does it, and then it's still, bro, but they lied to us. Why are their lies not okay, but Trump's lies, their lies are not okay, but Trump's lies are okay? They're fine. You don't even push back on them. So just to remind you, this is the guy Joe Rogan was. You ready for this?
I really believe if Michelle Obama runs, she
win.
wins.
She's good.
She's great. She's the wife of the best president that we have had in our lifetime. I've never voted right-wing in my life. I consider universal basic income a really good idea. I want free college education.
Take it easy.
Hello, Bernie.
How are you, Joe?
Wonderful. Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I like Tulsi and I like Bernie. That's it.
Oh, yeah?
Everybody else can eat shit.
Look at you, fucking progressive.
Yeah. I think I'll probably vote for Bernie. I think he's looking out for the interests of the working people. And I think he wants people to have a better life and do better. And I'm all for that. And if that means I have to pay more in tax, like people think, oh, you're a socialist. I've heard people say that. Oh, you're a fucking socialist, bro. Like, first of all, he's not even a socialist. He's a democratic socialist. It's a different thing. I would like to spend more in taxes if they could fix inner city communities and take these poor neighborhoods and throw a fuckload of them. Spend more, you fucking Republican piece of shit. 87% of scientists said that human activity is driving global warming. I'm very pro-choice. I'm very women's rights, civil rights, gay rights, trans rights. I'm even universal health care. Obviously, this protected status is driving me crazy. This thing that Trump's doing with children that were born in other countries and then brought over here as children, and then they're talking about deporting them. That drives me fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's
that kind of shit. And the hard right version of that is despicable. These people that I see online, why didn't they apply for citizenship? Oh, who knows? Maybe because they're fucking 13. I don't give a fuck if they broke the law. You don't take parents and kids and separate them. You just fucking don't. You know Alonzo?
No, who's that?
A funny comedian.
Yeah.
He said, he goes, not all Donald Trump supporters are racist, but all racists are Donald Trump supporters.
He definitely awakened that side.
But
the
see,
January 6th thing is important.
See, it is important,
And
but is it the 6 months later? Is it should be the ruling number one conversation of a journalist?
I think it's really important. And one of the reasons why I think it's important because it highlights the reasons why a guy like Donald Trump is so fucking dangerous. Is because a guy can incite a bunch of morons to do something really fucking stupid. But as far as trans people, some trans people listening to this, I got nothing but love for you. For everybody. And in fact, Eddie Izzard is one of my all-time favorite guests.
Oh, I love Izzard.
The right-wing thing is just an easy way to dismiss me, because I'm not right-wing. I can't recommend your book, Race Matters, enough.
Dave Smith was also just on his show, and he was saying, like, Trump needs to understand now it's time to actually make a change, and we don't want any of these wars, and we don't want any of these neocons in government, and he needs to understand that. And, oh, would you look at that? Would you look at that? Trump already picked Brian Hook to run the State Department's transition team. That guy's a neocon warmonger. He wants war with Iran. He wants Bill Hagerty as Secretary of State. This is a guy who's a warmonger. He wants to stand up to China, and he wants to stand with Israel as they commit a genocide in Gaza. He also is already planning his business-friendly agenda of tax cuts and deregulation. He wants to his top ranks will be filled with billionaires, former CEOs, tech leaders, and loyalists. So the whole idea of him anti-war, bullshit. Pro-worker, bullshit. And then, of course, we have the Trump already offered the job of U.S. ambassador to the UN to Elise Stefanik, who called for unrestricted U.S. aid to Israel, and she led a smear campaign against pro-Palestine college students, calling them anti-Semites, basically comparing them to Nazis, trying to get them censored and banned, trying to get university professors and leaders who defended the First Amendment rights of these kids to be fired. Now, is he going to come out and talk about this? Is he going to say, holy shit, I was duped, I was wrong? Trump's already picking pro-war people. He's already picking anti-worker people. He's already doing the thing that I didn't think he would do. Are they going to do that? No. They're not going to do that. As much as, independent media suck themselves off and act like they were special, they weren't special. None of these people were special. They're subject to the exact same malincentives as mainstream media. And in this case, I think it's fair to say these podcasts are worse than mainstream media, because at least with mainstream media, you get some adversarial questions of these politicians running for office. Whereas in the independent media space, it's nothing but hand jobs to whoever comes on, hot stone massages, and eventually endorsing them and helping them win the presidency. So don't expect the record to be corrected. But this is the closest you're ever going to get to Joe Rogan admitting that Trump lied to his face for 3 hours straight. And lied about the election was rigged. Oh, really? Look at that. You won this election. It's almost like it wasn't rigged last time. But don't expect Rogan to hold that lie against Trump in the same way that he holds the Democratic lies against them. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.